and he's an amazing guitarist. And I'm so excited that he can be here to show you guys a little about what he does.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Taylor.
Yeah.
It's been nice, guys. I've never been in this area. I didn't even know about Weaverville until recently. But I've been enjoying, and are you guys from Weaverville, or did you purposely move here to be in the nature? No? I don't know. So, okay, I'm almost done. Let me just check one more thing really quick. But this will be part of the song I'll probably play, but I want to just make sure that everything is dialed in for me. Okay, but I don't think this hurts because like you'll see how like I'm taking my time. And one of the things I was talking yesterday in the theater too, because there was people who was interested in what I was doing, and I was explaining to them that like part of like using all these equipment is like just learning how to treat your equipment as a part of the instrument rather than just the pedal. So yeah. So
Sing for you, sing yourself. That sounds pretty good to me. Okay, cool. Welcome, guys. Hey. Thank you so much. All right. So just a little bit about me, which Taylor already kind of
spoke about, but I do travel quite a bit, and I primarily play my own music, my compositions and arrangements. The purpose why you saw me doing like a little bit of the tweaking is because like, when I was sound checking yesterday, I realized that like my vocal levels were a little bit quieter than the overall the track that I was making, and because I play in not only one style, I got to make sure that everything is balanced. So I really do think about this as my my family of musical instruments. If you see right here, since you guys can see probably clearly, so this one is a 4-channel mixer, and this actually will display like so can you see this? So my vocals going in there as well as my guitar. I'm actually like sending my guitar 2 different signals. So I have a magnetic pickup here, but inside there's also a gooseneck, and that's actually what's picking up all my percussion sounds. And there's nothing, these days there's a lot of devices and tricks where you can actually like buy and incorporate so that you get electric sounds, but this is all from the guitar. So let me actually just demonstrate it really quick for you. So let's see. So all the percussion you're hearing is from the guitar. It's natural sound. And one thing, this is something I've decided. How many guitar players actually? Yeah, cool, nice. Bass players or? Cool, you play everything. Drummers? Okay, I think I heard about you. Okay, where's Lily? Where's Lily? Is she here?
She's another class that she's failing right now. So
Oh
she has
no!
to be
Yeah,
there.
her grandma was there last night, so I was
Yeah.
looking forward to meeting
Yeah.
her.
Maybe I'll go beg the teacher if he can come over the last 15 minutes or something.
That's good. That's good. That's some love. So basically, as you can hear, like what I'm doing right now, you can hear it from just like the guitar itself. So my goal was to basically this sound to come through the amplifier and use my background as my electric pedalist combined. I think it's really interesting. As Taylor also mentioned, I do have a background with orchestra music. I did conduct. So I think about like, this as my orchestra, so to speak. In any case, let me just go ahead and plug back here. And since I've been talking about the sound, let me just go ahead and talk about that a little bit more. Unless there's might be anything you wanted to ask from the last part, I'm happy to take questions. This is your time and my time, but yes, please, go ahead.
You said it was magnet something. I forgot. Was that already on the guitar, or did you put that there?
This right here?
Yes.
Excellent question. So when I bought the guitar, there was no I've done a little bit to modify this guitar, like including this. I'm sure that somebody's gonna ask me about this. I'll talk about that too. But it didn't come with this. But actually, it was interesting. This guitar was built with a pinhole that you could actually put in or put out. So like there was something that I could just easily put out. Sometimes guitars don't have that, so you would have to drill a hole on your own. So this one, I just took that out, and then I mounted this. This in particular is the Fishman Rare Earth Blend. So there's the magnetic pickup, and inside some of it you might be able to see, but there's a gooseneck microphone that's attached to here. So it's 2 signals that I'm sending, and I'm actually using are you guys familiar with the word TRS cables, which is basically a Y cable? So if you're not, here's an easy way to look. So normal guitar cables would have just one of these rings, but if it's like stereo, there would be 2 rings. So that means that you can get 2 signals from the source that you're sending the signal. So I actually split that here. If you look closely right here, there's a red and a blue. And you've already heard my distortion pedal a little bit, so it's no surprise for you guys at this point. But only the magnetic pickup I'm putting through the distortion. I've tried experimenting with also putting the microphone through the distortion, but it's so far I haven't been successful in making that really cool. There might be a way to do something, so maybe you guys might come up with something. But from me, I just basically decided to go into the distortion pedal, and the microphone is bypassing that and going into the mixer. So that's kind of what's happening. Good question. Did I answer? Anything else before I move on? If there's anything that you're curious about right now. And feel free to keep your thought if there is, or just keep on stirring it. I'll be happy to. Is it the class until 11:30 or?
Till 11:20.
Okay, so we got a little bit more time, but so just use the time wisely, and sooner or later, time runs out. But that's the truth for every one of us. So I hope you guys have a really good life. I'm serious about that. Like when you think about it, you meet somebody. And I was laughing about this because there was a kind of a strangers and neighbors. It's interesting as human beings we talk about that. I travel with my kitty cat, and he's kind of like my Yoda in a way. He teaches me just keep your life simple. He's actually in Weaverville right now. So anyways, so the one thing I was about to say is that we never know when we might see somebody again. You may never, and you may see somebody again, but that may be that is the last. There's no repeat. Life is not a rehearsal. Actually, Tommy Emmanuel said it in a good way. Life is not a rehearsal, so you better get on with it. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. So I really mean it. Enjoy your life. Okay, so here I am, back into the plug-in mode now. Let me demonstrate the orchestration sound that I was talking about, so that you guys can get a little bit more idea of what might that be. So here we go. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Wow, it's good to see you smile. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Wow. So that song is called Return of the Fruit Bunny. I have a suite that I wrote from some time ago. I wrote this particular movement during the pandemic when I felt like just energy from, this kind of sounds cuckoo in a way, but energy from all of us in general, actually, because I think the pandemic when 2020 hit, like, you know, all of us had something in common. Perhaps it's one of the first times we thought about like just this particular virus, and everybody was thinking about, you know, how do we get through this? And I thought it was a very interesting time for human beings in general. And right around the Easter time, I was just thinking about my song called "The Fruit Bunny," and I just felt like all this energy, and that's when I wrote this piece. And it was interesting because at the same time I was kind of thinking about Silent Night, which is a Christmas song, and how that brings me energy. And then, like, you know, I was like, I wrote this piece. But you heard the fourth movement. The first movement is actually written for this guitar in a different tuning that Taylor was able to witness yesterday, which is maybe I'll do that later on if time allows. It's an open tuning where the sixth string is dropped to a B, low B, and the A is down to F sharp. D is the same, but the G is down to an F sharp, and then B and E are still the same. So it's my B minor 11th tuning. It's really, really great. Second movement was called Return. If I Could Only Find My Apple Tail. Did anybody see the Japanese animation Princess Mononoke by any chance? Some of you, okay. At the beginning, you guys remember how there's like this god of death that just touches everything and kills everything? It's just this really torn up and hurt wild boar, but basically it's like this god of death, and everything that it touches, it just swallows the life out of it. So basically in the movement of If I Could Only Find My Apple Tail, the fruit bunny who's visiting us from his peaceful galaxy turns us into this god of death and starts destroying everything. The fruit bunny came with this apple tail, so like, you know, he had this apple tail, but he lost it when he came to Earth. So when that happened, he changed it into this beast, the god of death. So this movement was written from a power trio, where heavy distortion and like a lot of odd time signatures and exotic meters and stuff. So and that was the second movement, and the third movement was called Inochi, which means life in Japanese. What was interesting about that was when I was playing in Riverside. There was a gentleman who said, Riverside, California, the guy said, like, you know, so go, is your next piece called Energy? I was like, oh, that's so interesting. So, like, you know, I realized that energy and inochi actually has the same flow in terms of the word. So ever since then, I tell the Japanese-speaking people it's called inochi. But to my friends who speak English, I've been telling them it's energy, but it go hand in hand. And the last one that you just heard was Return of the Fruit Bunny. And all four movements you can actually find on the internet somehow, or you can go to my website to read about the full story if you like about the Fruit Bunny. Yeah, any questions so far? I think that piece actually really does demonstrate quite well of my two-hand tapping technique and whatnot. Let me just keep on going here. Oh, you had a question. Go ahead. No, it's okay. No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
How long did it take you to figure out like the mechanics for that song?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by
Like,
that question?
How long did it take you to put it together as a piece, and how you played your instrument? I don't know.
No, you're doing a good job. I think I feel you. I think I feel you. So let me answer it this way. So I'm going to break that question into a couple of parts and answer it in my own way. So if I don't hit the valuable point, just let me know. So I just told you the story how I was feeling that, and it was more like a feeling thing than the actual notes. And for me, many times, like, you know, more than the actual finished song, the reason I wrote it or the reason it happens is a little bit more important for me. And I kind of decided on that for one simple reason. Obviously, I'm filming myself right now, and I'll probably go back and take a look at this, right? But I'm sure you guys done this too. Like, you would film something or take a photo, and you may never ever look at it. Yes? And here's one thing that somebody told me, and I'll get back to your question too, about difference between like humans and animals. So they were saying that when there's an event, human beings accumulate the events, and when there's an event, animals just experience it. And that's something I've been striving to become more that way. But I will say this: as human beings, I think we're kind of lucky because we're still animals, but there is something special about human beings. And if you can, do you have a question?
Oh, it was one of the statements what you were saying. Like some things are just meant for you in a way. Like, you know, that's like how I view it. You know, you have to take a picture and then of everything you see just it's for you.
That's awesome. Really well said and very short too. Wow, I wish I said that. Very good. Wow. Thank you for that. No, I think he's absolutely right. Wow. Let me just rely on that for 1 second before I get back to the question. Wow. Oh, whatever that thing was, it just kind of went down. Well, even the little thing was wow, good job. You shifted the energy in a good way. Okay, so going back to your question about how to write and so forth. So for me, I was kind of I can't really display it too well, but I was kind of feeling like this, and it's is this what's gonna happen to us? We didn't really know, some of us who are super serious, not going out and just quarantining, and then I just had kind of this very kind of dramatic kind of thing, and I wanted to make this very dramatic piece to remind myself and remind everybody else that it's just going to be all right. So that's what I started on. In fact, I'm not even sure how I decided on the notes, but this particular piece, I wanted to use the full spectrum of using this particular tuning, which is basically a regular tuning, but it's one whole step below. So here's your E minor sound. So every time when I'm actually playing a E minor shape, it's actually sounding D minor, just so that you understand. So that was one thing I wanted to do. I was I want to use the full spectrum of this, and I had an idea that I was going to be using the double tapping. So that was good. And at the time, it was challenging for me to because you can see I was orchestrating a little bit on my pedals. So that was going to be a big element of that piece too. So I knew what that was going to be, and I knew that I wanted to finish with, I knew I was going to go there somehow. So those were kind of the elements, and I wanted to make it relatively bright, or so to speak, joyful or happy. A lot of us actually have a tendency of thinking that the major chords are happier, and the minors are sad, but I don't know. How do you guys think about that? I'm curious now. Do you think about it?
I think the context really matters, what chords come after each other.
Sure.
You can have songs that are in minor keys that do sound happy. It kind of depends on what chords you put next to each other. Yeah.
How fast or slow it's going?
Wow, you guys are good.
They pretty much said
The
about the
intention
same.
behind what's being
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
What is it? What?
The intention behind what's being played.
Yes. Wow, you guys are good.
Like just how you think about it, how you perceive it personally is how you're gonna perceive it. That's the way I see it. You just, if you're hearing sad, then it's sad. It's not for you. It's sad, and if it's happy, and if you're happy, you just do that.
I want to kind of echo on what you're saying, and probably just add on to that, because say that there's an event that happens in your life, right? And it's kind of up to us to decide if it's actually negative or positive. Yes, in a way.
It's just the way you look at it.
Wow.
Different perspective on it.
Have you always been this way?
Pretty much, yeah. My dad just nailed it into my mind pretty much that look at the bright side of life, just keep walking forward, because if not, you're going to get stomped on.
Well, that being said, I'm sure that you've experienced some tough times and so forth, but that's something that all of us go through, and I'm sure you kind of probably already do this with the influence of your father as well, but when something bad happens, we feel we want to get instant relief or something.
You just have to heal.
Yes,
Healing takes time.
healing does take time. Wow, man, thanks for being here today. I
Song
really appreciate it.
lyrics. He's giving you song lyrics.
Song lyrics? Well, all of you guys are, and he was, before you guys came in, he said a really nice thing, some things are just meant for you, and it's not everything is. And I thought that was really nice the way he put it at the moment, anyways, too. Let me demonstrate something really quick with this tuning. So. Okay, thank you. So, I just made that up, and I'm sure that you can do it too. And I actually believe that everybody is able to compose, and it's only a matter of how much you've done it, basically. The best example that I can give you is like Johann Sebastian Bach, but I don't think he was thinking from this shape to this shape. He was just feeling the notes like from that tension, like where do I go next? You can feel something because we're used to listening to music in a certain way. And when you hit certain notes, it just kind of does that something to you. And when I was even playing the first piece that I was demonstrating, I think for you guys, some of you were like, I think he's gonna go here. Now you start to hear things in your heads. Yes, yeah. And if I make a little bit of a accidental note, you might be like, oh, he went there instead. And you probably do this without even thinking about it. That's the composer in you, and that's where actually each piece becomes unique. And I actually encourage that if you have the time. Because it is time and energy to do that too, and you got to really get in the zone. But it's a lot of fun, and one of my life goals is to actually be at the point where my compositions and improvisations get to almost exact same levels. That's actually one of the things I'm striving for, and that means a lot of the techniques and stuff. How many of you improvise? Okay, so how many of you improvise based on things that you played already before? Okay. How many of you actually go beyond what you played before? Okay, well that's pretty good. So there's different levels of improvisation too. I had a very interesting conversation with another guitar player about this, but there's very few people who really, really improvise. And even the way I'm talking, I'm using English words right now, obviously. So I've been trained to use this language, all of you guys, And for example, is a kind of a little bit of something that I just say anyways. But to get to the level where you truly understand the moment is another level. And I don't know, maybe some of you already do that. It doesn't have to be fast, it doesn't have to be slow, but I think the way he said it, like, and there's a place for everybody. It's fun because you're really taking command of what you have inside rather than what you've been influenced from. I'm not going to say the influences are bad things, like, learning is great, but you also have a very inner voice of you that you can maybe showcase to the world, and maybe it'll bring some joy to somebody. So just keep that in mind if you're interested in that. How many of you are you like serious about becoming a musician, or like yeah? I'm very curious. So, like, it's a good time. And you guys are like how old are, you're in your teens right now? Yeah. Okay. That's cool. It's really, really good. And it's something that you don't have to think about it too much, I think. But I think you need to be kind of aware of what you choose, because, like, whatever work or whatever job that you get or whatever you do, you're going to be making effort. And believe me when I say this, there's times when I really struggle and stuff, but I still try to, like, balance it out. I feel very fortunate that I was able to connect with Taylor this time to come to Weaverville for the first time with my kitty cat. He's at my place. He's not here right now, but that's him. So, yeah. So, like, just something to think about in terms of what brings you joy in this life, and, like, what you might be interested in doing as well. Yeah. So I've been lucky. Like, for me as a musician, like, one of the goals was clear. I wanted to play the music that resonates me. I've done session work. I've toured with other people as well, but I really focus on, like, I wanna grow my music. One of my teachers, who was an improvising teacher, his name is Vinny Golia, but he plays lots of wind instruments. I think he started out with saxophone. Do you know Vinny? No, but basically he was like, like people were talking about Coltrane, and then, like, he was like, well, why don't I make a Golia? Why don't I really make time to, like, develop my sound? So if that's something that you want to do, it's probably one of the most joyful, but also probably one of the most demanding, because you'll have to have people accept you for who you are, which is a little bit more challenging. But it is possible. So we're on till 20, right? So let me just go and maybe play two pieces that's a little contrasting for you. Let me play something that I didn't play at the concert yesterday. Alright, okay, let's do this.
I like your shirt.
I do too. It's cool. I mean, I'll show you the back later on once I finish this piece. you. All right. Here. That one's called Chikara Danza, and it's kind of my homage to Paco de Lucia, who's one of my favorite guitar players.
I really like the dynamics.
Thank you. Yeah, dynamics are such an important part of
Yeah, they are.
music, but a lot of electric guitar players don't use it enough. But you could do a lot, so yeah, for sure. Okay, let's try this. Okay, this might be the last piece I'll be able to play today, unless some miracle happens and we have 24 more hours or something like that. But anyways, here we go. This is one of my signature pieces called Love Tap. did a pretty good job. So we got 2 more minutes left. So if anybody has any last minute thoughts that you want to share with the class, or if you can also be in touch with me. Does everybody use Instagram? If you do, my social for Instagram or any of the other ones, it's support GOH. So feel free to be in touch with me if you like. But if that's against the school rules, you can go through your teachers as well, send them the information. So yeah, but support go. But if you really want to learn about me, please visit my website, which is composelife.com. Composelife.com. Any questions, guys?
That was really cool.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
Do you play any classical pieces?
I do
'Cause
actually.
I can tell kind
Yeah.
of the way you pick that you played classical.
Yeah, I still do actually. It's a big part of my like I have about 70 pieces under my repertoire right now. So I play Schumann's Humming Song as a part of my repertoire. Do you guys know that piece? Guys, thank you so much. Be well. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much for coming in. This is really
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Go Pete, go!
My name's Coda.
Coda? C-O-T-A?
No, K-O-D-A.
K-O-D-A.
Oh, you're
Oh, wow. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Oh yeah, that's just the way I like my grandma. She's like a wine lady. She's
Wait, what?
Rachel.
Oh, thank you. She's like a big
She's like
yeah.
She taught me a lot of stuff and all the stuff that I was talking about today. She taught me a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you taking off into the world. Thanks, Coda. Oh, it's called Love Tap. Love Tap. So like, Love Tap, and that's actually that's my main song. So if you look up on the internet, just look up GOH and Love Tap, you can easily find it. So,
Hi.
okay.
Nice to meet you. Wow, that was really beautiful.
I had a good time. You guys have just a very open, warm vibe. So I appreciate you. It's the energy is like a circular.
It is a really nice. This is nice energy to be around.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Just like dancing and just being ourselves.
Oh, you guys have a class now here, I think.
Yeah, we have our choir class right now.
What time does it start?
It starts at 25. I think.
Okay, so I gotta break down now.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you say again that you used to get that, I don't know what it's called, the sound you're getting from just press,
Oh,
just up there.
I actually call it love tap, but some people call it just tapping. And so the idea is like a piano, like you're just striking strong on this string from the top.
No, I mean like through the,
Oh.
like, what is it you use down here to get there's a sound you make, I don't know.
Which one?
The echoey kind of
Yes,
sound?
the echoey, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the almost
Yes, that.
almost
Like up there and then-
symphonic song?
Yes,
That
that.
sounds like a choir's coming in?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's called the shimmer reverb. So what I'm doing is like, and I told you guys that this is actually preset. So like, we're on channel 4 right now, where it's completely muted. But
Does it remind me of like microtonal, like that kind of stuff? It's like the shimmer effect, I was like, ooh.
okay, so say that I was playing this way,
Hey Marvel, please go to the
but
library.
then
Hey Marvel, library.
that's fine.
Yes, that, I'm like,
So that's called the shimmer reverb. What I'm doing is like, depending on how I tweak that, it's going to respond to my dynamics. So if I play, the other channel doesn't have that, so then it's dry. So I actually go between that. But the cool thing about the shimmer reverb is that if you play just a little bit, it'll respond a little bit. But if you actually really punch it, it'll get gigantic. So like just a little bit right there. But if I play,
that big.
so yeah, so